What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/AmITheA butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, I don't know why I laugh at that every time, please feel free to use the timestamps in the description and along the timeline below. That's what they're there for. And thanks for spending 20 minutes out of your day to be here. It means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for doing you. You are amazing. Do not forget that. And let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for not going to my mum's birthday after learning her husband got rid of my cat? My mum remarried when I, 29 male, was 14. My sister and brother were 12 and 9. From the beginning, none of us liked Ben and didn't consider him our stepdad. It was obvious he didn't like us either. He literally divided our fridge between stuff that was ours and what was his. Separate milk, cereal, eggs, sodas, etc. Everything he paid for, we weren't allowed to touch, even if it was the same brand. It was weird, but whatever, our mum bought us what we needed. Ben was super controlling too. Always told us our friends weren't allowed in his house. He's the one who moved in with us, even if my mum said it's okay. We weren't allowed to sit on his couches, so always sat on the living room floor, expected us to be silent in the house 24/7, never let us go outside, etc. I was a stubborn little shit, so I butted heads with him the most, while mum played mediator between us. Even now that we're all older, we still dislike him, only tolerate Ben for our mum when we visit. My brother in particular hates him, and sometimes they have screaming matches. Last month, when we met up at their house, shit got out of hand with their argument, and my brother revealed he knows Ben was the one who got rid of my cat when he went missing. This caught me off guard, but I got on Ben's case and told him to tell me the truth. And it was true after all. My brother saw Ben with my cat in his car driving off once. Ben confessed he was tired of all the hairs and my cat roaming around everywhere, so he took my cat to a shelter an hour away. I almost fucking lost it right there, and my mum tried to calm me down. So she had known about it too back then, but never told me because my cat had already been gone for months. But according to her, she made sure Ben knew how horrible that was. Then I took off and told them that I'm not speaking to them anymore, and she shouldn't expect me at her birthday, which was a few days ago. My heart was pounding and I cried a little in my car. It felt like I lost my cat all over again. I had spent months looking for him, and all that time he was at a shelter. Who knows if he was even adopted because he was an older cat. My brother's the only one who apologised for never telling me for bringing it up like that. Everyone else is telling me to let it go already because Ben made that mistake years ago. They said mum was extremely hurt that I didn't show up to her birthday, so this was very immature of me to be angry over something done a long time ago. I spoke to her and she apologised for what happened back then, but it didn't make it right for me to shut them out on an important day. So she also feels I was in the wrong for refusing to go when every birthday I've been there, and it means a lot to have all her kids there celebrating. I'm caught in the middle, still feeling emotionally raw over this whole thing, and I'm not really sure if I was an arsehole for not going. Now this was a wild one from the very start, having to keep things separate in the fridge, making you sit on the floor and you're not allowed to sit on the couch. I mean, what the fuck? What was your mum doing in this? And I do suspect, and I know it's reaching again, but I do suspect is your mum in some kind of trouble because, you know, that's not normal behaviour. And I'm not making excuses for mum because letting your children go through that is appalling. But I do suspect, something is not quite right in their relationship too. But let's face it, Ben didn't make a mistake. He's an arse, and that's all there is to it. And let's check out some comments to see what they say. And we'll start with BeckDog19 saying, "Give me a break, Ben made a mistake. Ben was a selfish arsehole time and time again, and your mum enabled this man to treat her kids like shit for years. You have every right to be furious with the both of them. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I sure don't see Ben apologising anywhere in this story. Not the arsehole at all." And Plays with Dolls still says, "Not the arsehole. She made it clear she's chosen Ben over her children so she can celebrate with him. If she wanted her kids to be happy and visit, she should have dumped the weirdo who refused her kids food." And Sheila Monarch says, "Not the arsehole. You don't have to speak to either of them ever again if you don't want to. That's fucking horrible." Then says, "I get that birthday gatherings mean a lot to you, mum, but you know what meant a lot to me? My cat. What he did was despicable and you covered it up. That makes you complicit. I'm absolutely entitled to shut him out of my life forever. Should have done it long ago. And if you're adjacent to him, that's unfortunate. You're going to have to forgive me if I can't just get over what he and you did. Or don't forgive me, I don't care. Won't change anything. You can choose that narcissist over your own children for years, so enjoy that. I'm done playing happy family with that monster while my mum acts like his deputy. Click. Nothing less than an apology from him, not her, will suffice. And you still didn't have to accept that, but her apologising for him? Nope. And one more from Angel Islington saying, not the arsehole. And what is wrong with your mother? She allowed a man into your home who treated all of you and her so shamefully. He separated food in your home because he doesn't like to share. He made you sit on the floor. He controlled your actions and your mother enabled it, and appears never spoke up for you. She chose to bring this man into your home and have little sympathy for her. I know she's your mum and all, but no, because this sounds like an abusive household to grow up into. And then you find out that Ben left your cat at a shelter. A cat who had done nothing wrong, who must have been scared, confused, and let's hope he found a decent home and had her last years in happiness because precious Ben didn't like cat hairs. And don't you dare let your siblings say he made a mistake. Ben didn't make a mistake. He got up one day and took your cat and left him at a shelter, then watched you search for him for months. That's not a mistake, that's hideous and you know it. And the worst thing is, your siblings are guilt tripping you, but your mum was so hurt that you didn't go to her birthday. Forget it, forget about her birthday and go no contact, because it's not just Ben who owes you an apology, which you will never give because he's a narcissist, but also your mother because she chooses to bring this man into your home and basically rip your childhood apart, and she's so hurt. I'm sorry this was so toxic. You deserve so much better in your mum's choice of husbands. Also on a personal note, thank you for the award. And now I turn this one to you guys. What would you do in this situation? Do you think something's more's going on between the mum and the father's relationship? And again, not that I'm excusing it, but I am curious to wonder if there is more going on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And our next story comes from Individual Inside 23. Am I the arsehole for not allowing my daughter to get a makeover at a birthday party? This happened last year. Because of actions my parents did when I was a kid, I do not allow my daughter, Maisie, female 5, to play with makeup. When I was a kid, my parents fucked up my self-confidence and self-worth by convincing me the only way I'd ever find love or success was if I was pretty. At 8, my mum started perming my hair. By 13, I was getting highlights. By 14, she was having my brows waxed. At 16, she convinced me I needed a nose job or the boys would never like me. Around 15, she was reminding me to wear lipstick and something pretty in case any boys saw me. For years, I defined my own worth based on whether or not I was pretty. It took years to repair that damage. I swore I'd never do that to my kids. Maisie's classmate Anna had a 5th birthday party and Maisie was invited. The party was dance club themed, but there were also activity stations set up as well. Build your own cupcake, make your own crayons, make your own clay sculpture, finger painting, etc. And one of the stations was professional party makeup. Anna's parents had hired 3 professional stylists to give the girls fun makeovers and do things with their hair like temporary colour dye and clip-in extension for curls and such. My Maisie, while enjoying toys and clothes from both sections of the store, is mostly a girly girl and she's always been curious about makeup. She sees those kid-friendly sets at the store or is sometimes gifted them by relatives and she wants to play with them, but I don't allow it. When Maisie is a teenager, she and I will discuss makeup and how to use it properly, and when I believe she's mature enough to wear it and not let her beauty define her, I will let her wear it. And once she's 18, she can do whatever she wants. The stylist required parental consent before doing anything, so Maisie came and asked me if she could have her makeup done and her hair fixed. I said no and explained why. Maisie took it well, and in a moment her favourite song came on and her friends took her away to dance and eventually the matter was forgotten. Maisie enjoyed the party and we went home happy. But through the other parents, word got around that I refused to let Maisie get her makeup done. Now the other parents are calling me some crazy helicopter mum who's trying to control her kids. Apparently they think it was an arsehole move to make Maisie go without a makeover when most of the other girls, it was an all-girl party, had their makeup done. Now it's gotten back to my husband and he said he agrees that Maisie doesn't need makeup every day, but surely I could have let her wear it at the party and washed it off when the party ended. We didn't fight, but he told me that if he'd been there, he'd have thought I was being controlling too. Was I an arsehole for not letting Maisie get her makeup done? And there is a slight update to this one as well, so we'll cover that after the comments. Now, this is a tough one because I do have empathy towards OP for what they've been through, for the way they've been brought up in their own childhood, but at the moment they're projecting their own trauma onto their child, which, is just not right. And I feel so bad saying that because, OP is suffering themselves from what they've been through in their past, and they don't want their child to go through it. So they're coming from a good place, so it's hard to call someone an arsehole, but at the same time, they are taking out all their sort of like past trauma out on their daughter, which, is just not right. So unfortunately, I will have to say you're the arsehole in this situation. And we'll start off with Amamu saying, this is a hard one to judge because you are the parent and you know what's best for your child. However, I do think you're the arsehole very lightly. It's a one-time thing where she can go and have fun doing all the things at a party. You can tell her that makeup is just for fun and that she absolutely does not need to look or feel pretty. And Illustrious Complex says you're the arsehole, but honestly a lot of it is because of your residual trauma. A single case of a makeover will not impact your child the same way you were, especially if you reinforce it with support and guidance as she grows up. Instead now you're harming her in another way. You are a loving and supportive parent, so don't allow your trauma to become hereditary. And a C person by night says you're the arsehole. Look, I understand your concerns about makeup because there is a lot of toxic shit in that arena, but, and this is a big but, you are taking this too far. This sounds like age appropriate, although who has 3 professional makeup artists at a kid's birthday party? And you let your trauma block your child from enjoying a safe and age appropriate activities. You need to get into therapy because you deserve to have healing from your childhood, and your daughter deserves a parent who will let her develop a healthy relationship with makeup instead of blocking her from even experimenting with it in an age-appropriate fashion. And one more from Scuba CC saying everyone sucks here except your husband and Maisie. You made a valid parenting decision and it didn't seem to bother your daughter, so the other parents should have minded their own business. You were going overboard in trying to do the opposite of what your parents did. Get off the wild pendulum swing and find a comfy spot in the middle. Teach your daughter that dressing up and putting on makeup is optional and she should do what makes her feel good. And the edit says, I've gotten really good answers here and also a good dose of humility and bluntness. I realise now that I'm unhealthy projecting my own trauma on Maisie and I have some work to do on myself. So I will be making a phone call to my therapist and getting back into that. And I've just placed an order on Amazon for a makeup set for little kids. When it gets here, Maisie and I, and Daddy if he wants to join in, will spend an evening with the TV off, phones off, learning about makeup and also how beauty can make us feel powerful and confident. Good. I love to hear a positive ending to a story, and it's one thing that I miss when we don't get an update on every single story is that we don't get the wholesome endings when people do take the advice from Am I the Arsehole and they use it in a positive manner, and that is what I love and sometimes I miss from these stories, So I'm so glad that you're going to do that and sit down and get in touch with your therapist as well. It's just all positive for me in the end. But what about you guys? What do you guys think about this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And our next story is from Razzie Raz Raz Mataz. Am I the arsehole for asking my mum to not talk about my children's weight? Absolutely not. But anyway, let's have a look. My mother has almost always been very thin. All her life she bragged about her low weight, healthy eating and fitness routine. When I was about 4, I remember watching a Feed the Children commercial with her. She pointed to the little starving children with big bloated bellies and told me that if I didn't eat, I would look like them. Apparently, I wasn't a big eater back then. It struck me as a 4-year-old so much that I went to the fridge and grabbed a carrot to eat. Fast forward to my teen years, my mother constantly talked about my growing body. She was always flat-chested and I happened to have bigger breasts. She was always pointing out hips or my butt, which led me to struggle with eating disorders. She always made me feel like because I weighed more than her that I was not good enough. She obsessed with the fact her normal weight was in the 120s. I moved out at 16 and found myself for the next 20 years struggling with my weight until recently. My husband loves my body and tells me every day I am beautiful. He loves every curve. While I want to be healthy, I don't care about the number on the scale. My mum still makes comments to me about my weight, straight out called me fat in front of my husband and stepdad. Both were shocked. We were at a funeral at the time. My husband mentioned it to me and I shrugged it off. I told him that I was used to it and she didn't mean anything by it. Fast forward to last month. My oldest daughter is a teen. She is tall and womanly for her age. She is by no means fat. She is stunning and could be a model. I have no doubt she will be 5'9" by the time she is done growing. My mum was over and made the comment in front of my youngest, who is half my older daughter's age. She said it was good my daughter had started track because of the COVID weight she had gained. I kind of scoffed and said, she's going through early puberty, she has hips and a butt because she is turning into a woman. My youngest said something about how she needs to practice running too. She loves to run and wants to be the fastest. My mum told her that she didn't need to lose much weight. She said this to my 8-year-old. At this point I shut down and said I had to make dinner, so my mum left. Later I sent her a message and tried to write from the heart. I told her that I loved her and asked her out of love that she not speak about my children's weight, and for that matter, mine. I let her know that I struggled with bulimia as a teen and I don't want my kids to go through that. I let her know that it made me feel uncomfortable and that I no longer wanted to hold anger towards her, but if such comments continued, I would find that difficult. She never responded and I haven't heard from her since. She did, however, make a comment on my uncle's post about his COVID weight gain and that I'd make a joke, but I was told recently that because I am skinny, COVID weight jokes are not funny. Am I the arsehole here? Am I seeing criticism where it isn't? So this person criticized you to the point where you had bulimia and now is making jokes about it on social media to other people. Fuck that person, man. If she somehow saw her wrongdoings when you sent her that message and turned around and said, oh my god, I'm so sorry for what I've done, you know, it would be one thing. But to turn around and still like make snide remarks on social media on posts about it, you know, that's unforgivable in my opinion. And I wouldn't let someone, and if I had children, I wouldn't let someone like that around my children either. So 100% not the arsehole at all. And I don't know what to write here. Says, not the arsehole, not the arsehole, not the arsehole. Please don't let us say these things to your daughters. My mum was like yours. I was put into Weight Watchers at 8 years old, told that she would have to shop at the big and tall store for me if I got any fatter. I was literally going through puberty and I just gave up and ate like shit for years because no matter how I ate, I was given shit. It really fucks you up and I'm so sorry you all went through that. Keep your daughters safe from that vitriol. It's so dangerous, especially at that age. My 2 sisters and I ended up with eating disorders because of her, and now I have a firm boundary with her. If she starts talking about my weight or what I'm eating, I drive home, which is 5 hours away, so a big motivator for her. Please, for the sake of your kids, don't let us say that shit around them. And CM says, not the arsehole, she abused you with comments about your weight, and she will do it to your children as well if you let her. Tell her how much she hurt you with those comments, and that topic is off limits if she wants to see her grandchildren, and be prepared for a meltdown from her when you do. And don't drink the coffee, says not the arsehole, and your mother is awful. Maybe look up narcissistic parents, since she is so focused on her appearance and the appearance of everyone connected to her. It might help you heal and prevent your kids from going through what you did. I can't say she is a narcissist just from this, but she definitely seems to have some narcissistic tendencies. Yikes. And We All Vibin says, not the arsehole, she literally gave you an eating disorder, homie. To which Opie replies, this comment made me seriously cry. I blamed myself for so many years because I thought I didn't have self-control. I hate blaming her. It gives her so much power, but when she said those things about my kid, I felt sick. I saw myself. I saw her approval when I at 15 lost 20 pounds and could fit into a size 1. Maybe I am the arsehole for letting her back into my life to begin with. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation? Have you ever had anything similar? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And just a pre-warning on our next story, as it does mention losing a child, so I just want to give you that as well, just in case. So the next story comes from Banana Ghosty. Am I the arsehole for potentially bragging about my newborns when my ex-wife recently lost her baby? I, male 30, was married for about 6 years before finalising a divorce with my ex, female 32, a few years back. We share a son together who is 4 years old. When we split, we agreed that I would have him during the school year and she would get him in the summer. Earlier last year, she announced she was pregnant and our son was thrilled. Meanwhile, me and my fiance, male 28, have been looking to find a surrogate to also add to our family. As my ex-wife progressed through her pregnancy, she claimed that dealing with our son and her new baby would be too much for her. She wanted to sign away her rights to our son. I did not think it was the best thing to do because our son was old enough to be attached to his mother, but she insisted. So I legally have all the rights to my son. My fiance is planning on trying to adopt him once we get married. Luckily for us, a friend reached out and offered to carrying a child for me and my future husband. We agreed and we got the news a few months later that she was pregnant. Our pregnancy was about 3 months behind my ex-wife's. I do not let her parents see my son frequently because they have no say in her signing away her rights. Of course, my son is excited to have a sibling from our side, so his grandparents told his daughter. Since then, it's been a bit hell. My ex-wife has non-stop harassed us about copying her. She accused us of having a baby out of spite. I've tried to not let it get to me. I've always wanted a big family, and I thought when I got divorced I lost my chance. Unfortunately, my ex gave birth to a stillborn. I gave my condolences because the loss of a child can be so upsetting. My sister reached out to her as well because they had been close while we were married. My daughter was born a few months ago after this happened, and we made one announcement on social media about it. My fiance and I are pretty quiet people, and we don't like attention. We just wanted to let friends and family know that we had a healthy baby girl. My ex-wife, her parents, her boyfriend, and her extended side of the family have not stopped harassing my family about bragging about our child when my ex-wife was clearly in pain over losing hers. I'll be honest, my ex-wife's feelings were not considered when we announced the arrival. I was just overjoyed to have a new addition. So, I'm here to ask your opinion. Am I the arsehole? And we'll start straight away with Flat Sky saying not the arsehole at all. Your ex on the other hand, signing away rights to a child when another is on the way, that's a horrible thing to do. Yeah, I thought that as well. And one more from Maddie215. Okay, this is a horrible thing for me to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I am furious with your ex for discarding her son and deciding it would be too much to handle with a newborn. As a mother of 2 years apart, yes, it's a major change, but many women do it without giving up the first child. As far as your question, unequivocally, not the arsehole, and congratulations. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation, and how would you deal with it? Let me know in the comments below. Now once again guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy today's stories, and if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as it massively helps out our channel, and I cannot express that enough. Thank you so much for your love, support, and time, and I will see you in the next one. Take care guys. Much love. I've been thinking that I can't let you go. Hey, can you hear